Hi, Simon. Thank you so much for coming on and for allowing me to chat to you about your self-realization, which I think was spontaneous, wasn't it? It wasn't, you didn't go to a teacher and they helped you to self-realize. As far as I remember, it was actually watching a video.
Yeah. But there was a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Towards self-realization. So it wasn't like I was just didn't know anything. I was walking in the park and bingo, it happened. No.
Wasn't just spontaneous.
No.
Well, I suppose it was in a way, because obviously at any point it is spontaneous. That
Yes.
little point where the identification drops is spontaneous, but actually there seems to be quite a window of searching leading up to that moment. It is interesting, isn't it, how it can be just certain words, certain pointings that are just the right thing at the right time.
Yes, it's I would say it's the timing and how it's all built up. So each individual story will have their own, coming together.
How it all
although time, but it seems to happen like that.
So am I right in saying it was about 5 years of seeking from start to finish, or?
I think 5 years of known seeking.
Yes. Yeah. I actually didn't know I was a seeker.
Conscious.
Until afterwards, when I was like, oh, was I seeking? For me, I just wanted the truth. I felt like this doesn't feel right to my body, this push and pull motion, and I just want to find the truth. Did you have a driving thing, something that drove you forward?
I didn't know, but I'd originally asked the question because I was deeply unsatisfied, if you might say. It's just doing the business and wanting to get, the dream this, the dream that, the dream car, the dream home, all of that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Satisfied, yeah.
But partying, going out, and waiting for the next Friday again. Come Monday, oh, is it still Monday? All of that. All of those things were going on, and then I'd asked that question of who am I? What do I really want? None of this. Like come Friday, come Saturday, Sunday again, and then the dread. Oh, Monday. The work got like another week for this,
So you're living for the weekends.
Time for this.
And it's that outside seeking, isn't it? We're seeking to feel complete and whole and happy from the outside. There's something, because what's here I'm not happy with.
And also trying to hang on to the when you're into your 40s. I mean, that was then.
I think we're both in our 50s now.
You tend to, I was gymming it, wanting to look good, wanting to,
thinking that's the answer.
All of those things.
What's the answer? So I think I remember you saying that you were wanting, you then went to experiences. So you weren't satisfied, and then living for the weekend.
And then I went to Costa Rica for an ayahuasca retreat.
Wow.
So, something that came up on YouTube.
Wow.
I thought, wow, I gotta go and do this.
So that's so were you very normal before then? You know what I mean?
No,
very sort of, like you say, living for the weekend, that sort of regular guy.
Not even in a very least way spiritual at all. At all, nothing.
So you went straight for a 5-day retreat. Did you sort of know what you were going getting
7
into?
days. Yeah, it was 7
Wow.
days. Yeah, but it was a four ceremonies back to back.
Wow.
So every night was for 4 nights for ceremonies, ayahuasca ceremonies. Yeah.
And what sort of things happened? Any peak experiences you can share with people?
Yeah. Plenty of experiences happened. Beautiful. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life before. So, and what happened at the end of it was the drinking had stopped.
Ah, okay.
The drinking just fell away. There was no wanting to give up drinking, or there was no fight against it. It was just not interested.
Wow, brilliant.
Instead, this body mind was in that way inclined, want to grab onto the next new challenge.
Yeah.
And then you had grabbed onto ayahuasca ceremonies and how beautiful it was, and how healing
seeking
it was.
Again.
Seeking. Yeah. So
the next thing.
I started this ayahuasca, then mushrooms, then there's something called the iboga. The iboga is like a 32-hour knockout. So
oh my gosh! So this guy that was so regular Joe then just really went extreme, really went seeking for extreme experiences.
Extreme.
Yeah, and then you did some sort of frog venom or something.
Yeah, then I also did. Well, I think it's called. It starts with a K. I can't remember it now. But what they do is they put about 5 or 6 dots of burns on you, and put the frog extraction into the burn.
Oh wow! So it gets into the bloodstream.
Yeah, you have to drink about 2 liters of water in about straight 15 minutes.
Oh God!
Right.
And what was that experience like?
Oh, horrendous. That's the cleansing. What it does is it brings, you feel like someone's gagging you and you have to throw up. And all of that, it just cleanses out.
Oh, like a purging.
The purging.
Yeah.
It was throwing up.
Yeah. It wasn't a pleasant one.
Yeah.
And then, so do you think none of that? What changed then? So you were seeking all these experiences.
After that, I did something called another frog extraction. It's called the frog is called the bufo aviarius, and they extract the excretion from its legs.
Right.
They just put take a glass and then they wipe off the secretion onto the glass and let it dry and crystallizes, and you inhale it in a kind of a smoke form.
Right.
That I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But it's got to be done with a proper.
Somebody who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely. And it was done and it was administered properly, and good care was given. Absolutely no problem. And in that one, where the whole it's like this. The only way I can explain it is, if you imagine a huge big TV, and you take 1 pixel on that TV and put all your life's pain and suffering into that 1 dot.
Wow. Yeah.
And now imagine the whole spectrum of dots hitting you on that big screen, so that you cannot tolerate it. You're just like a fish out of water.
Right.
Just splashing around.
Yeah.
And the whole room disappears. You disappear, and there is this geometric patterns of light, the mandala.
Wow. Yeah. But maybe all too much.
And even there is a breakthrough that you go through that, and that's the one that which is non-dual.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You experienced that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I still didn't have a big breakthrough. So I had, and it is so intense.
Yeah.
And
how many sessions did you do?
All in all, I think I did about 4 or 5 sessions during the course of the time.
But did I hear that it was terrifying?
Yeah. It's beyond, it's not fear, it's absolute terror.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And it's like your inside your head feels like it's all twisted and turned around, and only what's pure essence left. And also it's not of you can't, your thoughts are too slow to catch up with it. You don't know what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like you have a sensation if you move your arm or you click it, and that click is that takes you back millennia, and it shows how your intelligence has been formed, kind of a thing. You get an understanding of that. I guess it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Because you've got no ground of being, you've got no center, you've got nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Wow. So do you think you need that? I mean, this is your story.
When I did it the last time, that was so devastating.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I couldn't
do it again.
I couldn't do that again.
No.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really recommend it to anybody? But having gone through all those things, it didn't wake you up.
No.
It didn't help you to self-realize.
No.
So
that penny slowly dropped in.
Okay.
I said, no matter what I do, come back, and you're back to square one again. So the experiences, the penny drop that this coming and going, there's nothing is staying. So then the next step was meditation. So and at the same time there was this release of this movie called free movie on YouTube, is still there, called Samadhi. Samadhi is 1, 2, and 3. Great movie.
Okay, I'll link to those in the description. Okay.
Watch that, and something went off there. So definitely, so that was the beginning of the non-dual path. And then slowly, just by watching YouTube videos, learn, you got to get a bit of a knowledge as to.
You hear all the lingo, you hear all about it, and at some point the penny drops, doesn't it?
Yes. You got to hear it hundreds of times.
Yeah. Get the mind out of the way. Just let it soak in.
Yeah.
And until you've heard it so many times, it's not knowledge anymore. That's why it's self-realized. It's
let's make that one. Let's get that point out of the way first. Self-realization doesn't mean that you're going to get more intelligent.
Did you think that?
You'll have the answers to every problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean any of those things. All it seems to have happened here is the Simon character is seen through more than anything, and there seems to be less of suffering. There seems to be, probably 50 to 60% less suffering.
Right. And do you think you were suffering quite a bit?
Yeah. And also the seeking is gone. Most importantly, that's what was causing the suffering.
The chasing.
The chasing
of experiences and wanting to feel better. Yeah. So you sort of more rested back being.
Rested back.
But it is interesting because a lot of people don't realize that there are still invitations you know, your mind is still operating. Like you say, you don't pick up, you know, as many, you don't get lost in it as much.
Yes,
but for me, I had that. I didn't have it intensely, but it was still operating. And I think a lot of people who I spoke to at the same time, about 20 of us actually, that self-realized it was happening. We feel like you fall asleep to the game of separation. Then you wake up and think, oh no, I fell asleep. But there is that knowledge that you're always
there's something that's like pulls you back. You know, you're in the thought stream. Something that pulls you back and says, what are you doing? Okay.
Oh, you'd forgotten. I mean, we never leave this. It feels like we go and come. I think it's quite important to point out to people, you never actually leave this. You just feel like you get pulled out, and then it's like elastic band. You get snapped back, and you're like, oh damn. It's almost like the dream of separation. You just fall asleep to it a little bit and then wake up. And for me, and I know it's only been a couple of months for you, and I can't remember how long it was for me, but that seems to go backwards and forwards, and then you just suddenly realize one day, oh, I never leave here. I'm always here. Not that you can leave here, but you know, that pull stops, and you're like, wow, it's always here. And that's when the mind.
And also the other thing, what I noticed was watching non-dual videos, you seem to get the message straight away what anyone is. You know, all these years you watched them, you've never got it, and now you get it. And
it's entertainment now, isn't it, to watch them, because you're not seeking anymore. You just like, oh, that's what that meant. Oh, that's what that meant. It's almost like, because you're on the other side of the fence in a way, and the game's up, and you can see it all. For me, it felt like the mind is then this, you know, this mind-made self. There's distance. So then when it does offer a ticket to suffer, it's just seen, you know, and the thoughts drop away, because you think, oh, not that old one. And it sort of gets less and less and less. And I would think, I know you still are, like you said, it was 50%. That'll just get more and more. But resting
I
as
think it's only been about 2 or 3 months, really.
Thinking back for me, and obviously so everybody's different.
It has to deepen.
There's some sort of level of maturity that seems to happen. It's hard to put it into words, but the more you rest as your true nature and don't have that elastic band, such a good, I'm going to use that elastic band pull. Once you stabilize, and then it just gets richer and richer, and the experience of just this present moment awareness is all there is. And even if you did get pulled out, you're so aware that that you're still this being pulled out. It's all seen. So it will just get but I do recommend, if and I don't know whether you do it, but just, you know, spending as much time as you can marinating in who you are, the truth of who you are, because that seems to create some sort of I think Eckhart calls it presence power, and I haven't really found another way of describing it, so I'll use his description. Presence power, that power
and
to
also
just rest who you are.
In the visual field, what seems to have shifted, if I just sit back and relax, the distances seems to be diminished, not completely 2D, but like the chair behind another object, they both appear almost one behind the same another
plane.
So it's flatter.
So this, that subject object starts to break down.
The distance is shorter. Thing. So it's flatter. So that's all. That's definite. Once the shift happens, you know it.
So could you
go back.
Could you describe that shift? Because you know, it's not always a big firework display, is it? I mean, a lot of people are looking for a big experience, and it isn't necessarily like that.
It's not an experience.
Okay.
It's something very, very, here was something so basic that I had missed.
Yeah, it was the same
So
for me.
when that was realized, I almost fell off the chair laughing. Because how could you have missed this? It was so obvious. How did
Yeah,
you? Yeah, once it becomes obvious,
yeah.
yes, of course, then you can laugh
Because
at it.
because it was always there. You can see now
Yeah,
how it was always there. It's the ground of being. It's what everything else, all the experiences of this is experiencing it all.
yeah. We'll put it out there because, you know, this might not resonate with everybody, but whoever it resonates with, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's why we're doing it. Yeah.
yeah, and also the path is different for everybody. So
Everyone,
there is
yeah.
no
Just
one
like
set
life
route.
is different for everybody anyway.
Yeah.
You know, nobody has the same life, so they're
Yeah.
not going to have the same self-realization. But can you just tell us that, because people love this, but you know, they just want to say, what was it? What was that moment? What was the word or the phrase or the thing that helped?
All it was, I was watching David Bingham, an interview of David Bingham with Andy Kloss or someone like that, the
Okay,
younger
yeah,
guy, yeah.
yeah.
And David, the first thing he said, the I am, the sense of the being, the living, when you feel that is impersonal, that doesn't belong to you, and that was like a thunderbolt. So that awareness,
Yeah,
I had made it to be Simon's aware. I am aware.
yeah,
I am aware. Of course, I am
yeah,
aware. But that was personalized.
yeah. So we'll just unpack that slowly.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at
yeah.
that.
And
So
the
the
way he
I
unpacked,
am,
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, you go.
that way he unpacked it, the description was very, very clear. Now I look back on other non-dual videos, and they say impersonal, aware, but there's not much importance is given to that.
Okay.
But when David put emphasis on that and said, look, this is where the confusion is for many people. And hit, did it hit? It just went right through.
So it was that personal, impersonal. The I am is believed to be the separate person, but that I am is just
impersonal awareness.
Yeah, is impersonal awareness, not personal awareness. It's the
Not
same
personal.
for me. I always describe it like this: my everyday seeing that I've always had when I was 5, 15, 25, always felt the same. I believed that was Collette.
Yes.
Because people have told me this is Collette. Yeah. This, oh my, it was just, I can't believe they told me this was Collette. That's how I saw it, like this. So I thought this was personal, but it's impersonal awareness. It's impersonal being. It's, you can say it 100 times over, and I hope that somebody just gets that nuance of that, the separation game. Really.
Yeah. So that
I will link
personal
to that.
has been taken as a personal you, me.
Yeah.
So the me is all in that. So mind you, by doing all of those things and circuits and that, so that had to the story had to unravel to get to that point, and then see. So that it was all timing, yes, in a way that there is a timing.
So because some people say, oh, you don't need to do all of what you did because
maybe
because it's that simple. Yes, it is that simple, but maybe you need to watch 2,000 videos just for that one thing to drop.
Yeah.
But David is particularly good at that impersonal and personal language, and his pointings are very clear. And he woke up to a video as well, didn't he?
Yes, John Wheeler or someone.
Yeah. So I will link that video. I'll search for it and link the video that you watched that gave you that clear seeing, because you never know, that could help somebody else as well. So looking back, because I obviously, because we're always it and we're just believing this, that we always are, is a separate person. Can you look back in your life and see that, did you have moments of this and just didn't know what it was?
No.
I know you mentioned that you went cycling, long distance cycling, and I wonder whether you did fare.
Well, I think what was happening was the body mind, or the way of the universe was a plan to put you on the cycling, so it became meditative. You get the second wind. Firstly, you're struggling, you're putting all your effort into it, and then all your body and the legs and everything relax, and everything is flowing. It's like a flow state. So that's meditative. So all my life, and driving long distances in the car, having the job to do that, all of that was designed kind of.
You feel that it
was chipping away for a 20-year period.
So do you think that relaxation was revealing the self? It's the relaxation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're doing something repetitive, so the mind sort of calms down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you're in the flow, and then that is just your natural state is revealed.
That's the impersonal you.
Yeah, because you don't sort of know about that.
Yeah. It's only when the distinction is made that you look back and say,
you see it.
Yeah, you see it.
It was always here, and actually I had some very clear. For me, so I just think people who are watching this, it's just because you always are it. There will be moments where the very tiny moment is when you see like a beautiful sunrise or sunset.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, that is it, because it's sort of like it just stuns the mind. Something beauty stuns the mind, and you're just in awe, and that is that natural state.
Yeah,
because the mind's dropped. Anything that drops the mind.
Yeah,
I used to do. I had a few experiences when I did yoga, and it was really strenuous. And then you lie down at the end for shavasana, which is just lying down and relaxation. And because you're so tired, when you relax, I would have all sorts of experiences. I didn't. There was no knowledge knowing that was actually the true self. That was just because it was just surrendered. So if I can offer anything to anybody, it's that surrendering.
Yeah.
And the dropping of the busy mind and the identification with that busy mind is the key. It's the resting back rather than the forward motion of seeking.
And also to mention that surrendering happens. You cannot surrender.
Because it's not the I, the personal I identification that surrenders. It's not the personal I that wakes up. So the one that's seeking doesn't wake up. But actually, always, effortless being, who you truly are, just presence, awareness, awake, is always there. So even when you're seeking, that's always there as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's claimed by this idea of a separate self. And that's the one that we think is seeking. That's the one we think wakes up. That's the story of Simon.
Yes. So that story of Simon is seen through.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that the story of Simon is going to go away and you're going to go leave everything and go. No, everything goes on as usual.
Yeah. As you usual. Just don't suffer to the degree that you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because you're not being pushed and pulled by everything. And there does seem to be a time when it all drops away, and there's very little at this point, at this time. I don't know, but for me, there's very little suffering. There's all sorts of chaos in my life, but I'm not actually suffering any of it.
Yeah.
So, if we can offer that to anybody,
there's the I call it the silky smooth spot. But that's
where life's just flowing.
You can also call it emptiness. What they're all names anyway. It doesn't mean anything.
All words.
All words
to describe something that we just naturally are. So there's no fireworks. Don't look for a big experience, but you will probably laugh your head off. Because it's just when you realize what a joke it all is, that it was here all along.
Yeah.
And we can't.
So the reason why I'm saying it's not an experience, is before, in the awareness, what you're looking through, that's impersonal awareness. If that is impersonal awareness, you can see your hand, your legs, your body, everything. So that's already in your impersonal awareness.
Yeah.
Now your mind will come up and say, no, this is my hand, my legs, my body. But that is also in the impersonal awareness. So So impersonal awareness first, and the mind is after, secondary.
Yeah.
So, so the clear distinction. So the mind will never get it in the sense, because it's always secondary.
Yeah.
It's
prior to the mind.
It's prior to the mind. So
to the mind.
In the mind, there is experiences of having all this glorified spiritual experiences, meeting God or some angels or whatever it is, but that experience doesn't stay. It's there. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Comes and goes.
That's it's over, right? And I think I used to watch someone called Fred Davis. He used to call it bells and whistles.
Yeah, because anything that comes and goes, isn't it? Yeah,
anything
that comes and goes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's appearing in it, but it isn't it? Yeah, so that's why the mind won't get it, because the mind is appearing in it, and the mind is not going to get it because it just can't. So even when you listen to videos, for me, I hadn't realized what I was doing, but I've always had quite a kinesthetic. That's been my dominant sense. So I was always feeling the videos. So I wasn't trying to gain the knowledge. I was just, so if I'd listened to Eckhart, I would just go into complete bliss and just the absolute. I mean, I literally would for like half an hour listen to his videos. I wouldn't try and get what he was saying. I never use the mind. I would just, but what I didn't realize was that was it. So I'd just absorb. I would be like one big sounding. I would just listen to it all with my entire body, just feel the words. His words would become my words. I was just present. There was no separation between myself and his words. But then I'd switch it off.
Well, that's exactly happening.
Pick up the person
now. Here.
That's what you're getting now. Yeah.
There is a massive transmission right there.
To you.
Yeah. I felt that.
That open. Well, yeah, maybe I should do more in describing that. Yeah, so it's just that
the whole.
It's your whole body sensing.
Room is it's just like painted on. It's just including the body. It's like just wow. Yes. Yeah.
And then I would not realize what that was. The absolute. I'd just think, oh, that was quite nice. Feel very bliss, and then pick up the identification of Collette, who's got all this stuff to do, and I'd go. So I'd have that most amazing experience. But when I say most amazing, it's really important to put across. It's not amazing as the mind would think amazing is. It was relaxation. It was openness. It was like, oh, your nervous system is relaxed. There is bliss sometimes, not always. It's just, you're just there with what's happening. So I was there with Eckhart. I was there with Moody, whatever. When I listened, Rupert, but I wasn't there with the mind. I was just one with them. But it was just identification for me. It was just 5 words in speaking to David Bingham, 5 words. And I was like, oh my God, it was so obvious. But I just needed that little bit. And I was doing that for just resting as the absolute. And I used to have periods where I couldn't speak. I'd be speaking to people and I couldn't speak because I was resting as the absolute. So I used to practice. It used to be sort of spontaneous, but so I knew that I could just get out of the way when I was speaking to people.
And I think at this point, you could even say how to be in the effortless.
Yeah, effortless being. Yeah.
If you could say that effortless is something arising without making any effort.
Yeah. So the bliss just arises it's uncaused. It's not because something nice is happening. Yeah. It's like the perfume of being.
Yeah.
It just comes and that comes and goes, but it's just not it's just its essence. It's just how,
Yeah.
And the wisdom comes in, and wisdom, it's just there. There's no effort. I'm just thinking if there's anything else. you want to share with people that could help seekers out there to self-realize, to realize that that they're experiencing now, that they're watching this video with now.
Seeking is happening. Is nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, if they're watching it, they're already on the right track though, because they're watching videos. They're interested in the subject. So yeah.
So, and it will reach a crescendo where it will feel like you're going crazy because everything you do. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
everything
thank you, Simon. That is
seems
good.
to be like, you know, you go out for a walk or go somewhere. It's like, so who's doing this and who's doing that? And these questions keep coming and bombarding you.
Yeah. I had the same.
Means you're very close.
Yeah. So it's like the seeking just gains momentum and it's going by itself. And you're watching everything and you're almost going, what am I doing? Why am I watching so many videos?
Why don't you shout? I don't want to listen to you and all these kind of things. All of that happens. That means you're getting closer. Yeah.
Mine definitely reached a crescendo. And then I just thought, you know, I've had enough. I can't watch another video. I'm just sick of it all. I'm not going to watch anymore. And in that space of doing that, that's when I had this sort of vision flip. You know, the subject object dropped away from me just spontaneously. So and it was in relaxation. That was definitely what happened. I just relaxed one day in the sun and just thought, I didn't try to be present. I didn't try to look at my thought. I didn't try to do anything. I just had a moment of deep relaxation, just fleeting, and it flipped. Instead of looking to be present, I was the presence, and I was like, whoa, hang on a minute here. And then I would just get automatically, if things went wrong, I remember that same day something fell off the door, like a footing off the door just fell off, and I just picked it up and I thought, well, it's not good or bad, it's just what's happening. I don't know where did that come from. You know, it was just that ease with life. It doesn't, it, you know, it's just spontaneous. It doesn't, just what's happening. It doesn't matter. You know, whereas the person would have a story about that falling off. How much is that going to cost? Is it going to let the dampen? You know, it'd go on this very linear journey of suffering about who you've got to get somebody and how much will that cost. And, you know, that's just how the mind creates a story about something that happens.
Yeah.
And really, it's just something happening. That's it.
Yeah. When you realize it's 180 degrees to what you thought it was.
Yeah. That's why mine was a flip.
And it's so simple. It was so simple.
The mind will be frustrated with that. It's so simple because the mind is not the one that's
you can't get
it's not the mind. No, it's prior to the mind, this place of being that everybody is.
Yeah. Everyone is already self-realized.
They are.
They just believe that story.
Yeah.
That just one belief away. One belief away.
One belief away. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
One belief away.
Thank you, Simon. Brilliant.
Just if the seeking is happening, let it happen. Just do it. And there will come a point when you can't do it anymore. All you are meant to do is bring it to that point. So you can't do it anymore.
Surrendering. Yeah. It's the allowing or surrendering. Yeah.
Just fight it out. Get it all out. Leave everything on the line.
Sounds good.
And then you'll be defeated.
Yes. Yeah, you will be. But it's not, also, can we just point out, it's not as scary as all those words sound. You know, the self falls away. To the mind, it sounds awful. Yeah. It's scary. You know, it isn't scary. It's a relief. Yeah. It sounds, you know, your identity, you've lost your identity. It was always a story anyway.
No,
so it's not.
You know, there is still, I'll put this jacket on and I'll be Simon again.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, and a lot of people do have glimpses and then they feel like they've completely lost it and they spend another 20 years suffering. But I really think it's that, you know, the tickets to suffer is to see through them. and I'm quite passionate about helping people with that self-inquiry. I love showing people who they are because it's so easy for me to do that. But I did, in my search, I did look at the tickets to suffer prior to self-realization. I think that really helped me. But there is still the opportunity to do it afterwards. And that's what quietens down this story. If you look at the tickets, it's not absolutely necessary because this is a story. But if you just quieten the story a bit, it gives you that space to just go, oh, not that old thing again. Really? I'm not believing you anymore. You know, it just gives you a chance to drop it. And, you know, I look forward to be able to help you with the self-inquiry, actually. Maybe we should do a thing together. I'd love
really
that.
Good, really, really good tool. And you know, I used to do so many meditations, hours and hours of meditations. You know,
but who was the meditator?
Then
that's the thing. Quite often, that's your identity. Somebody who sits on the cushion, has this lovely experience, a bit like what I was doing, and then you get up, pick up the identity, and off you go.
Off you go again. It's back to square one again.
Yeah. So it's sort of breaking that cycle, I think, seeing through that. Who is meditating? Hang on a minute here.
Actually, that's a funny thing. About a week prior to the realization, I was doing a meditation, Adyashanti's meditation.
Oh, yeah.
And in that meditation, he says, it's only because you thought and your memories, which are also a form of a thought, that you are sitting here to meditate. So there is someone sitting here wanting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And what I did was, at that point, I just repeated what he said in my head.
Yeah.
That's right. And ran the sequence.
Overriding it. Yeah.
Ran the sequence of going through what he exactly said. I'm sitting here because my thought said that you need to meditate. So there I am.
It's that layered learning, so that at some point it drops in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I remember listening to things over and over again. I've got somebody who listened to I've got a 3-minute video, and they woke up to that 3-minute video because they watched it about 50 times. They knew there was something in it. They knew there was something, so they just kept watching it. I think they listened to it or watched it. I'm not sure what.
You know, whatever someone resonates with. That's also another.
You sort of get that idea, don't you? Yeah, that you definitely have some sort of guiding mechanism. I always felt like it was divine will. I just called it that. I don't even know what divine will is really, but I just felt like there was something guiding me.
And also, one other, the most important point is, over here was putting people up on pedestals. Don't do that.
Because you think, well, I can't be like them. You know, get so many tickets to suffer because they're up there, I'm here.
You will never be them, and they will never be you.
No,
you are uniquely great and uniquely special. But you're not any more special than the neighbor or the dog or the leaf or anything. They're all special in their own
being. They're expressions of the same one being. And some people you resonate with more than others.
That doesn't
everybody
mean
is
that,
you.
That it also doesn't mean that you have to like everybody. No, you know, if someone is doing something silly, and you'll stand up and say it. But I think
it is quite different to how you think it's going to be.
All of those things. It sounds so paradoxical, but because it is, it is paradoxical to the mind. It's not. It's not one. Oh, you said this today, but you're saying this the next day. Yes, that was
whatever is happening.
That's what was
because that was that moment. It's spontaneous action in the moment, and you don't hold on to anything.
No.
You know, I find like, well, somebody's like, oh, what did you do at the weekend? I'm like, the weekend. What was the weekend? Because you're not living that story in your head. You're not playing it over and over again. You're not identified with what happened or what you've got to get or what you've got to do. You just literally live in the moment, constantly in the moment.
And you almost say, who cares?
Yeah, who does care? Can you find the one that cares? But you obviously you have to play the game with people.
Yeah.
You're like, I try and desperately find something that I can say that I can remember.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing was sometimes you might lose very close relationship because you start talking about this. Unfortunately, this is going to happen. It may not happen for you, but it can happen, and it does happen because look, this is what, because you want
you're so
to get on the
desperate to share
soapbox
at the
and say
beginning.
it. Yeah.
At the beginning, you feel like you've been given like the best gift ever, and you want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Amanda says, "I'm like, I want everybody to have a piece of the cake. I'm so keen for everybody to come on, look what you can have." But we have to remember they already are it, and it's their journey. You don't want to stop anybody else's journey to self-realization, because you can't do it for anybody. If you wake somebody up, it's all just spontaneous, and you don't
whatever happens.
berate yourself if you do whatever you do.
Up on the soapbox and shout it out and you piss people off, so be it. Don't worry.
You don't worry about it, do you? That's the thing. You don't worry about what people think of you, because you can't find who would be worried about it. Oh, this has been brilliant, Simon. Thank you so much. I really hope that it helps some people to have that insight into the game
Simon
of separation.
Here hopes too.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.